morning to all the viewers of this casual talk on a casual Friday with your very own AECC Global, and I am Pranab Shrestha, one of the registered migration agents at AECC Global. So today we'll be talking about permanent residency as a professional engineer by the general skilled migration pathway. In this topic, we'll be basically discussing on the aspect of choosing the right occupation and how to get your skill assessment. Generally, for general skilled migration, there are three visa categories, specifically 189, 190, and 489. So I'm going to first explain to you about what the four criteria that are common to all these categories. Firstly, you should choose an occupation from the suitable list. That could be the medium and long-term static skills list for 189 and 489 family sponsored, and short-term skill list for the 190 and 489 state sponsored. Now, the second criteria is once you choose your occupation, you need to get a skill assessment from the relevant authority. Thirdly, you should have 6 each in English, and lastly, and most importantly, you should be having 60-point criteria. Okay. Now, if you have done a bachelor's of engineering or you're planning to do one, or you have a master's in engineering and plan to do one, right? How can I migrate to Australia? The permanent residency pathway through GSM is the best option for you. And how does that happen? So you need to choose your occupation based on the discipline that you have finished to study with or you're planning to study. Say if you've done a bachelor's of civil engineering, most probably you'll be suited for a civil engineer. If it's a mechanical engineering degree, for a mechanical engineer. Now, the assessing body is Engineers Australia, that assesses all the qualifications that are for a professional engineer. And Engineers Australia has two pathways, one for accredited education and one for non-accredited education. So they're basically qualifications that you have completed or you plan to pursue. Say you have an Australian qualification that's fully accredited, then you can just put your documents, your qualifications and other documents, and you can get your skill assessment done. But not all qualifications, even Australian qualifications, are fully accredited. Yeah. So some of them are not accredited, and then you might have to take another pathway, which is through the competency demonstration report. So this also applies for all overseas qualifications, and you have to write the CDR, which comprises of a summary statement and 3 career episodes and a CPD statement. So once you're done with that and you submit the documents to Engineers Australia, they will assess your qualification and your documents, and they will give you the assessment if it's suitable. Now, you must be getting worried that how do I choose whether my qualification is accredited or not, even if it's Australian qualification. They have Engineers Australia has a list for the accredited qualifications, and it clearly states whether it's fully accredited, provisionally accredited, or not accredited at all. So in that scenario, you can always come to us and we can help you to choose the right college, the right university, and tell you which study to do. The second thing that you need to understand is that the link between your qualification and the occupation that you nominate is very much required. For certain occupations such as civil engineering, it's very obvious. If you do your bachelor's or master's in civil engineering, you would be suitable as a civil engineer. But for some occupations such as electronic engineer or electrical engineer, it can be a bit of a difficulty in terms of selecting which occupation are you suitable for. For instance, you might have studied Bachelor's of Engineering or Master's of Engineering, and most of the elective subjects that you have done could be related to, let's say, low voltage technology. So that could be embedded system design and etc. So even if it's an electrical degree, because you have not done high power or high voltage study, your assessment would be most likely suitable for electronic engineer. So do keep in mind that the electives and the subjects that you take play a very important role in identifying what occupation are you suited for. The next part is coming to what other requirements are there in a skill assessment. So you need to have the competent English requirement, which basically would mean have 6 each in IELTS or 50 each in PT, and you submit that along with the qualifications, and that should be the deal breaker there. Yeah, you can get that thing done. So make sure you have the English thing prepared on time. And the next thing that you have to think about is how long does the assessment take? Usually for overseas qualification, they can take up to 12 weeks. And for onshore qualifications, Australian qualifications, they can take up to 6 weeks. However, you can fast track the assessment process by paying an additional fee, and they could probably get it down for up to 2 weeks time. Okay, so that's also a pathway that you have. Now, if you are a student here and you're planning to graduate soon, make sure that you have your English results on the side. Make sure you are prepared with all the documents that needs to be submitted. Once you get your qualification, apply for your transcripts and completion letter on time, because time is very important. You want to be pushing yourself ahead so that you don't end up lagging behind. So the next question is, how long does it take you to be a permanent resident in Australia? Well, that's a very difficult question. If I could really answer that, well, I could probably be making a lot of money and doing a lot of different things, but unfortunately it's a very straightforward and competitive environment. So it's all about the time frame and where you stand in terms of your points. But do keep in mind that occupations have been classified as pro rata and non-pro rata by immigration. So some of the pro rata occupations of engineering background are electronic engineer, and you have mechanical engineer. So what's the difference between pro rata and non-pro rata is that for the pro rata occupations, there's a limited number of invitations in each round. So irrespective of how many people have applied for the expressions of interest or what's the point scale, there's always a limit to number of invitations in a round. Whereas for non-pro rata occupations of engineering background, some of them are like electrical engineering, chemical engineering, civil engineering. For these occupations, there are no limitation as to how many invitations can be sent in each invitation round. So obviously these are just a bit of guidelines, but eventually it's about having as much points as you can, which is sort of enough to get you an invitation. So people do think about doing professional year program, which can sort of get you another 5 points. Apart from that, professional program also gives you an internship opportunity in the industry, which is, I would say, a door towards your career as a professional engineer. So do keep in mind a lot of ways how you can sort of not just think about permanent residency, but also towards shaping your career as a professional engineer. All these things matter, and the first and the foremost point and the most important thing is choosing the right qualification, choosing the right course, something that is suitable to your needs and your aspirations. So we at AECC Global have qualified education consultants who could be more than happy to help you in this endeavor. And also, if you intend to be a permanent resident in Australia, we have a very experienced registered migration agents who would be more than happy to again guide you through the whole process. So I believe that we at AECC Global offer you everything that you need. All you need to do is just come to us, trust us, and we will definitely make sure that you get the best service and all your desires and wants are fulfilled.